Alright, so now we look at tiled sprites and how they work. So here's an example of a tiled sprite already within the UDK. Okay, what we're going to be looking at is how to generate that via Photoshop first. And I would highly suggest you be like a scientist here. So RGB color, transparent. And what I mean about a scientist is we have to think about pixels, dividing this by 4, and we also have to think about, so this is 512 by 512, right? So 512 divided by 4 equals 128. Okay, so if we do this, let's say we make a fixed size, which is 128. px and 128px. You'll see by clicking I get a cool little square, and then I can drag this out here and keep continuing to do that until we make a cool grid. Now also put this vector down. There we go. So that was an easy way to divide up the grid. Again, I just clicked and dragged from the rulers out, made a little box that's 128 so I can figure out where that's at. Now I could have right clicked on or gotten into the point where these were pixels, and then I could have tried to find 128 here, but let me tell you that that's kind of a pain. So now let's do this. Again, be more of a scientist here than a person trying to make perfect, and let's make a box. And this text box, we're just going to type in 1 and hit Control A. I'll just put my cursor here and then wheel mouse up. 1. That's an ugly font. Like, even by font standards, that's ugly. Yeah, there we go. Now also, let's go back into this and center it. Okay, cool. I'm just going to hold Alt, click and drag it. And before we get too many copies, what I want to do is go back to each one and change the number. 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now I can hold Shift, grab all these layers at the same time, and drag them down. And then do that same thing. 5. I highly suggest going over there first to grab the layer. 6, 7, 8. Okay, I think you got the general gist of it, so keep continuing with this concept until you have them all filled with numbers, and then join me again. Alright, now that we have our image sequence laid out, just simple numbers going all the way through to 16. I just want to move these down a little bit, and I can use my arrow tool on my keyboard to kind of move these around. So I want to grab a whole bunch at once and just kind of move them to center them within a cell. We're going to also make a channel for this. So to do that, I like to get all these on the same area. Now we're just dealing with pixels here, so what I can do is this, and I don't want to screw this up, so I can grab all of these and go to layer and say group layers. Okay, now they're all in a group. Then I can go like this and grab normal for the selection, edit, copy merge, edit, paste. So what that'll do is turn them to pixels. I could turn this one off, and there we go. I can always change those later on if I need to. Alright, now holding control will highlight these. Going to channels, I can use Alt and click here to make a sprite or a alpha. Now this alpha is backwards, so select deselect, go to the alpha and go image adjustments, and should be an invert. Let's see what, oh, we got 32-bit mode on. Nice. So I'm going to just drop that down to 8-bit. You probably don't have that. Don't merge. There we go. Then ignore that just happened. Now I'll invert. Sweet. So that's what my alpha looks like. This is what my layers look like. Cool. So save as, and we'll just save this as TGA, and I'll call this Sequence Sprite. Alpha channels, 32-bit pixels, and hit OK. Alright, now that we have that, we can import it within the engine, and I'll show you how that works in the next video.